all the different styles of yoga is not necessarily what we practice, but how we practice it. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Yin Yoga class. Today we have 10 minutes to work on the spine. So maybe for this class you would like to have a block with you because we're going to practice a supported bridge. So you can have a block or a strong cushion or a hard pillow that will do the job. So we're going to find the back of the mat. As usual, you know already that I have my timer with me. We're going to be practicing 1 minute, okay? So we're going to start in half butterfly. For half butterfly, we're going to bring the leg in, the right leg. So we're going to bend the right knee, bringing the right foot inside of the left leg. I think I have explained in other classes that half butterfly, we can practice with the torso in between the legs, or we can move the torso on top of the leg. And this is how we're going to practice it today because we want to maximize the movements available in the spine. So we're going to be doing a flexion of the spine and also a little bit of extension in the lateral side. Ready? Awesome. So we're gonna start 1 minute here. You can place your hands in front of you and palms up. This gives us this sensation of surrendering to the pose. Also, the idea in Yin Yoga is that we want to practice without the aim of going anywhere. So we want to actually avoid that urge of pulling ourselves forward. We want to allow gravity to come into the pose. And as I have mentioned before, one of the principles of the Yin Yoga practice is to find that space where the asana starts touching our body, our connective tissue, our muscles. This is where we want to start. And from there, we just allow the time to do its work along with gravity. Good. So 1 minute is gone. We're going to start coming back up and we're going to stop before moving anything else to observe sensations, to feel any difference in between sides. So let's extend the right leg in front and see if there's any difference in between one side and the other one. We're going to prepare for the left side. So now bend the left knee and bring your left sole as close as possible to your groin, but it doesn't matter where it lands. You're not pushing that foot actively against the thigh. Muscles are relaxed. Your right toes can go out or in or stay straight. That will depend on your natural shape, the natural shape of your bones inside of the hip joint. Again, we're going to start bending forward, keeping the palms facing up. This is how I like to practice because I have noticed that especially when we are beginners in the practice of Yin, either we stop ourselves, so we plant the hands and kind of like stop the torso to continue moving down, or we use the hands to pull the torso forward, which is a very conditioned movement that we get from practices that are more active, more dynamic, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different intention, different energy, different benefits. In Yin Yoga, I would say also in all the different styles of yoga, is not necessarily what we practice, but how we practice it. Good. We're going to start coming out of the pose, stopping in the center for a moment. And now we're going to extend the left leg. Observe any sensation, especially around the knee area, the hip area, and of course the lower back. That this is the part that we are stressing today. Now that we have both legs in front, we're going to come to another pose known as caterpillar. So if you have been practicing yoga for a while, this may look like Paschimottanasana, but again, Paschimottanasana usually is practicing a more yang, dynamic, active practices, and it has a little bit different energy and intention. So here, let go of the legs, let go of the muscles. Muscles are relaxed, and we're going to start coming forward. For some of us, maybe having the legs straight like this is a little too much for the hamstrings, so you can micro bend the knees, maybe placing a cushion or a blanket underneath and just releasing on top of that. That can help if the tension that you're feeling in your hamstrings is too much. Otherwise, we will find our shape. And remember that another principle of the practice of Yin Yoga is practice in stillness. Once we have found the asana for our body, we start practicing the stillness. Stillness of the muscles, of the body, of the mind, of the breath, of the eyes. So you want to find a focal point. Usually when I'm doing my practice, I close my eyes. I really enjoy practicing Yin Yoga with my eyes closed because Yin Yoga is all about insight. It's about coming inwards. Good. 1 minute is gone. We're going to come out of the pose, observing any sensation. And before we move to the next pose, you also want to give that space for the rebound, which is the space when we are experiencing these sensations. And this is the time we're going to have the block or the cushion at hand, because we're going to come to this supporter bridge. We have been doing these forward folds. Now we're going to do a back bend, but we're going to support our body. So have it with you, next to you, and come all the way down to the floor. I'll just move the mic out of the way. And very important is to find the space in between your pelvis. This is where what you're going to put on the block. So you're going to place the block in any height that feels comfortable for you. The blocks have 3 different heights. And place the block, you don't want to place it on the lumbar spine. So it's not in the level of your waist. It's a little bit lower in between your pelvis. Once you find your body in that position, you can either keep the knees bent, and this is more than enough for a lot of us. You can keep one knee bent and one foot on the floor and extend the other leg. If you choose to do this one, I will let you know when 30 seconds have passed, so then you can change legs. Otherwise, you can extend both legs, and if this feels comfortable, we're going to stay here for a minute. So remember, I will let you know when 30 seconds are gone, so you can switch legs if you decided to do it more asymmetrical. Try to either close your eyes, no need to look at the screen. 30 seconds are gone, so if you are practicing with one knee bend, now change the legs, bend the leg that was stretched out, and do the rest of the pose with the other leg, with the knee in extension. Honestly, this is a pose, it's a supported pose. It's more towards the restorative style of yoga, but I can be here for a long time. Good. Feels very nice doing this extension in the lumbar spine. 1 minute is gone, so now everybody, we're going to place both feet on the floor. We're going to lift the pelvis to remove carefully the block or the cushion or the pillow. And now open your feet wider, a little bit wider, and allow the knees to come in, just to give some space or moment for the spine to neutralize. When we are working on the spine, this is a group of joints that they have different shapes. So we want to give the space to neutralize, meaning to allow the spine to come back to its natural S shape. Good. Once we have done this, we're going to bring both knees to the chest. So we have options here, as usual. In yoga, we always have options, right? So you can bring your hands behind your thighs and just push your knees towards your chest. That is one option. Another option is to come a little higher and hug both shins and bring your torso down to the floor. This is knees to chest pose. Giving a nice squeeze to the legs. This is what is causing is a flexion in the spine, mainly in the lumbar spine. So if you have noticed today, we have been practicing forward folds and back bends, which are the two movements that happen in the spine in the sagittal plane, movements up and down. This was a little bit of technical terms from anatomy, but I like to use my classes to educate what we're doing and why are we doing this movements. In other classes that we will have during this month, we will be practicing other movements in the spine, lateral stretches, twist. So hopefully you will get all the benefits of the practice. Good. So once that minute is gone, we're going to do a pose that we can practice as an individual pose in between the practice, or as variation or as modification of Shavasana, which is pentacle. So we're going to open the legs a little bit even wider than the mat. And then we're going to extend the arms more or less level with the shoulders. So we look like a star. So this pose in Yin is known as pentacle. Other practices also call this star. It's just to open up the body, giving this space to the vertebrae. Sometimes I like to actually place my arms a little bit higher so it creates more space in between the vertebrae. So choose the variations of your arms. You can close your eyes. We're going to stay here for a minute, allowing that the benefits of the poses to sink in. Taking a moment to pause. That is the great opportunity that Yin Yoga gives us, a moment to pause, to be in silence, to be quiet for a moment. And you can be my guest. If you have more time and stay here, you can stay here a little bit longer. Otherwise, we're going to start coming to the center, rolling to one side of the body and helping yourself to come back to a seated position. Good. Oh, and with this, I would love to stay there, but I have to do other things. So with this, I want to thank you for joining me in today's class, and I will see you in another Yin Yoga for Beginners. See you soon. Bye.